Maybe back in the 80s, a 12-year-old would be like, what's a renob? Boner backwards. This is like the third place I've tried to film this, and finally, no drone signs, yay! This video might look familiar to you because it is part of a much longer video that I posted a little while on the channel about the Air 3 and the Air 2S. That video was really long, so I broke it into 3 parts. Part 1, which you're watching now, where we go out and it's hands-on with the 2 drones, and part 2, which is the end when I'm back in the studio and really going into detail about the cameras and everything else about these 2 drones. And I even put up the side-by-side video footage where you can guess which drone is filming what, all in their own videos, and everything is linked in the description below. I was really hoping many of you would get to the very end of the longer video, which is part 2, because those of you who are like, well, my Air 2S has a 1-inch sensor and the Air 3 doesn't, towards the end of part 2, we really dive into that and why you're seeing the results during the day and at night the way we are. So enjoy this video where we're hands-on, flying the drones, and then really make sure to go check out part 2. That's where we really dive into a lot of detail about everything. Gorgeous spot here in Colorado Springs where I'm meeting up with Bo, one of my subscribers from YouTube, and he has the Air 2S and I have the Air 3. And look at this scenery we're gonna capture for you today so that you can sort of look and compare yourself which one you think looks better, if any at all. And at the very end of this video, I'm gonna talk to you about both of them and little differences to see if maybe it's worth the upgrade, or if you just have the Air 2, is it worth the upgrade? Spoiler alert, if you have the Air 2, it is. What's up, Bo?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Good to see you again.
Likewise.
Look how dirty it got from fucking that rainstorm.
Tell Ken how much I love his glove handles.
I actually got to get some kind of thing for mine too, because there is no way to hook the lanyard up to the Air 3, this controller, or even for the Avata. And since I'm starting to learn to pinch, wearing a lanyard is sort of a must. It's really hard to pinch just when you're free floating with a controller. Let me go grab mine and get this baby set up. Mine's so new that the tags are still on the bag. This enormous bag. It's a nice bag. It's a quality bag. Just a little clip right here. And that's it. Have you seen one yet?
No.
Look, it's all suede inside.
Got the new bag smell.
Yeah, new bag smell. It smelled horrible, but that horrible smell is dissipating. Here's the new gimbal guard cover. Sort of more like I think what the Mavic 3 is doing. You just yank it right off. It's sort of a pain, but it comes right off. I love this new styling that's on the top right here. Air 2S. We don't have the extra sensors on the top like the Air 2S does, because these sensors are omnidirectional. So they're actually covering more than what those 4 in the front are just by having 2. So it's a 360 sensor on this just by having the 4 sensors. I don't do the scale test, I do the hand test, and honestly, they're pretty damn close. What do you think? The weight's really not much different.
This actually feels a little bit lighter.
Really? So I don't think
this
it
got a
is.
bit more heft to it.
Yeah.
It feels lighter actually.
That's
I know they're not.
Yeah, it's
They just feel that
maybe
way.
it's because of the displacement of the size.
Could be.
That's the way I weight test stuff, man. Like, how many of you at home are actually going, let me take my drone and put it on a scale and see what it weighs? I don't. I doubt most of you do. So this is the RC2, I think is what they're calling it. If you notice on the sticks here, these are male. The stick is male and it's got that wide screw. The stick on the new one is a female and it's got that skinny one like the Avata controller has. Although the Avata, it's a male, where this is the male. And if you don't know what I mean by male and female, then you must be like 12. I think 12-year-olds would know that by now. Maybe back in the 80s, a 12-year-old would be like, what's a renob? Boner backwards. That was the funniest joke in elementary school ever. You know, learn out what a boner, the word boner means. You're like, well, you know what one is, but when you learn the word, you're like, oh. Another difference between the two is the battery on the Air 3 comes out from the ass end, where the battery from the Air 2S is a top end battery. And you get this nifty little carrying case that charges at the same time. Pop your battery in, oops, don't pop it in backwards, and you release it with these little tabs here. Even without this being hooked up, I could actually recharge a battery just by double tapping this, and it takes the power from these to charge that one, or something like that. And I think you can use it as a hub, like to charge your smartphone and things like that, if I'm not mistaken. So what I'm gonna try to do is just quickly get 2 flights, and I'm gonna put both shots up for you to look at. And towards the end of each shot, I'm gonna write which drone it was, see if you can guess what it is. Everybody ignores the way they actually fly. And I find that to be one of the most important things that all of us should be concerned about, because that is what gives you the fun of flying. That's really hard to tell which one's louder without a sound decibel meter. You got the Air 2S, which is definitely a higher pitch. And then you get the Air 3, which is a little lower. And then we're gonna go back over to the Air 2S. And from a distance, can you hear one over the other? I don't think they're that different in levels.
It's a little bit higher pitch.
Which the lower pitch is less annoying.
Yeah.
So I don't think sound-wise there's a huge difference in actual levels. I'm gonna see if I got a decibel counter on my phone real quick. Just downloaded a decibel counter. You can see it jumping up and down as I'm talking next to it. So let's see what we get when we put this close to the drone. Down here right between them, we'll give or take around 70 until I start talking. We're gonna go under the Air 2S first. So you're looking at 93 to 97 under the Air 2S. And between 90 and 95, 96 on the Air 3. Our assumption was correct. They're almost identical as far as decibels go. They just are high pitch and low pitch. So it's really what pleases your ear. Both of these are gonna be flying at 1080-60. We're not doing 4K. Obviously 4K is gonna be better if you're somebody who has a computer that deals with 4K, or you're doing it for something besides YouTube. 4K all day long. However, for YouTube and for ease of editing, I fly mostly in 1080-60, and I want to show that example for those of you who aren't all about the resolution bump to 4K. So it's hard to really show you how bright the screen is. It's bright enough. It could definitely be brighter, but I can see it to some degree. And here's the cool thing, like right from being above me, I can switch to 3 times zoom, and that's optical, and I don't even have to fly over there. I can just record it like this, and I could do some passes from way over here and get that parallax look, which is always so awesome. Love that look. This is a great spot, Bo. I love that look. Look at that with the zoom. Look at.
Oh, that's sweet.
You can't really get that look without that zoom lens. Look at that.
That's sweet. Now, can you record off both cameras at the same time?
No.
No.
That would be
so you
nice.
switch cameras.
Still zoomed in, so I'm so far away from those actual rocks. You have to stop recording, switch.
Okay.
We go back to the main camera. Look how far away I actually am.
Wow.
And if we do that same movement to get that parallax, look, you don't get it. It's not the same.
Oh, wow.
You just don't get that look. When you have layers of things in the foreground, background, midground, that just can't be beat. Like, it's such a cool look. And now that I know how far I actually am, I mean, look at how cool that is. Because right there, it looks like I'm like right next to him and I'm gonna hit him, but I don't think I am. God, it looks so close. It's sort of a mind fuck right there. Like, yeah, because look, I'm like nowhere near anything. I'm like by nothing. Would have sworn that we were about to just run into that, right? Like, but look, it's not even close. I'm gonna switch it back to that camera. So cool.
That is gorgeous.
And we're just gonna sort of left and start yawing at the same time. And you'll start getting that crazy effect where everything moves at different rates. Yeah, now, what I'm gonna do is throw it back in normal, the regular lens. God, it's so far away now. I'm gonna check something here in the settings. Check this out, look at this feature. This comes up so, where is it? Return to home, altitude, max altitude, all right? So it's set at 344. Most DJI drones max at 16, but look at this. I can go up to 3280. The reason that that's impressive is because peaks like this are really high. And right now we're flying everything in auto. For these tests, we're not really adjusting settings. It's all about being in auto. So just like if you grab this from the store and you want to go play with it, you know what it looks like. And even though we're higher than 400 feet, we're still under the peaks of these mountains. So technically that's completely legal. Now, if we were over the peaks of the mountains by 1,000 feet, yeah, that would not be legal. But I'm curious to see what it looks like on the other side of this peak over here. So we should be able to start seeing over it any second here.
It's amazing you can't even hear it.
Yeah, it's really quiet. We're gonna yaw because with mountains, man, if you don't yaw or do something, it's really hard to see any movement because they're just so massive, you know?
Max altitude reached.
Really? Oh, let's change it again. That's weird, it's not letting me go over that. Maybe I gotta do that from the ground, I don't know. But so now, again, if we stop it, we zoom in, and you can see we were still pretty far to be able to zoom in that well. And the signal, I haven't had it falter even a little bit. It drops down and goes up way faster than the other drones too. Supposedly it's even faster than the Mavic 3, like with the way it drops and goes up and down. Yeah, this OcuSync 4 is mind-blowingly good. And as I say that, all of a sudden my signal dropped. So let me go up higher, and the signal is right back. The signal's not so good at going through rocks. When you live in the mountains, you can't really fly on the other side of a mountain. See, I forgot to record that whole time. Thank God I was screen recording. That's the one thing that I absolutely hate besides these beeps, 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 is that when I'm switching back and forth between the cameras, I have to stop recording and remember to restart. Half the time I forget to restart because I'm so used to auto record. I wish that there was a way that it could just somehow record maybe both cameras at the same time, or switch when I switch. I don't know. It'd be really cool if DJI can update it that way so it's just recording constantly. Before even starting to fly, he hands me the controller, and instantly I'm like, oh wow, I can see the screen so much better. That 700 to 1,000 nits on one of these makes a pretty good difference. And you have no zoom lens, right? No.
I think you can zoom on it.
Oh, you can zoom, but it's all digital zoom. All right, so we might be able to get a similar effect. Let's see.
I like it because it's so compact.
That's what I liked about the original Air 1.
Yep.
Is its size. So this is flying with it zoomed all the way out. There is a digital zoom on this. I was mistaken. So I am going to do that and see how the digital zoom on the Air 2S looks compared to the optical zoom on the Air 3. Oh, it can zoom in really far. It's only 3 times, so let's only go to 3 times so it's a fair comparison. All right, so that's at 3 times. Similar kind of parallax thing. It is a little different though. You did get a home point update on this, right? It does not look like you did. Colorado Springs is a weird town for flying drones because there are military bases out the ass here. So you can't fly in their state parks. You can't fly, and I don't know why I did this. You can't fly in national parks. You can't fly in national forest technically, and you can fly from like private land over all that stuff, like all of it. You can fly over everything unless there's like some big FAA guideline or blocker set, no fly zone. You don't want to fly over the Air Force. You don't want to fly over the Army base. You don't want to fly over the airports. Yeah, those are no-nos even if you're on private land. But when there's so much beautiful stuff like this, there's not like 20 of us here trying to fly this spot. There's never issues ever in the last, since I started flying drones in what, 2015, 16, something like that. Unless it's a drone meetup or an FPV club or something like that, where there's tons of people flying at the same time. Why wouldn't the city want this kind of stuff out there to share, to say, oh my God, Colorado Springs is beautiful. I want to go vacation there. All that means is money, 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 money for all the people that live here. So yes, Colorado Springs is beautiful. Come vacation here and spend your money with the local residents. Did you get some good shots, Bo? Bo's got some shots. Hopefully this will work, or did work, because you've already watched them. Let me know what you thought between the two. What differences did you notice? That's my alarm going off on my phone. We got some laser appointment for some tattoo removal, and then I will get to the studio, look over this footage. Actually, I've already done all that. Let's just watch it now.